Wallace is explaining how everything in these CRD and draft complaints by Blake Lively became widely known publicly because she, gave it to the press.
What if the Hollywood couple you've always adored isn't who they seem? Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, charming, glamorous, the epitome of Tinseltown perfection. But what if that flawless image is a carefully constructed facade hiding a trail of lies and ruined lives? Today, we're peeling back the curtain on a series of shocking accusations, from a fabricated car crash to a defamation lawsuit that could bring their empire crashing down. This is a story of deception, legal games, and a fight for justice you won't believe.
Now you see text messages in this lawsuit from Blake Lively comparing herself to the heroine of Game of Thrones, the fiercest female character we've seen in years, Khaleesi.
Stick with me, because every twist in this saga will keep you hooked. Let's rewind to 2015 in Vancouver, where Ryan Reynolds made headlines with a wild claim. A paparazzo hit him with a car while he was out walking. Ryan said he escaped with just a sore knee. The guy was arrested, and the story painted him as a victim of a reckless photographer. The media ate it up, and the public sympathized with the Deadpool star. But here's where things get murky. That photojournalist, a respected figure in Vancouver's media world who worked for outlets like Canada's version of ET, reached out with a different story.
Wait, do you guys remember the interview that Ryan took over for It Ends With Us?
It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film. It's kind of crazy.
I don't remember seeing this on the schedule.
Let's dive in, shall we?
He sent stacks of evidence, court documents, witness statements, and more, claiming Ryan and Blake flat out lied. According to him, there was no crash, no damage to the car, and no proof to back Ryan's story. The charges against him were dropped years later because the evidence just wasn't there. He says the couple spun a false narrative to the police and the press, trying to destroy his career and reputation. Was this a one-time mistake? Not so fast. There's more to this tale, and it's only getting darker. Fast forward to December 2024, and a man named Jed Wallace is taking Blake Lively to court in Texas.
So it looks like another one of Blake and Ryan's dragons is going down. He's been accidentally slayed,
accusing her of defamation that turned his life upside down. It all stems from a 62-page draft complaint Blake leaked to the New York Times, claiming Wallace harassed her and retaliated against her during a film project. Here's the bombshell. That document wasn't even a real lawsuit. It was a draft, missing critical components like a court name, a case number, or a lawyer's signature. Wallace says he was never on the film set, never had a contract with Blake, and had zero involvement in the project. Yet Blake's draft named him, accusing him of unspeakable acts and painting him as a predator.
Is Ryan Reynolds playing us? Justin Baldoni's lawsuit is exploding, but there's a hidden player, Ryan Reynolds. Reynolds, the charming husband, is more than just a bystander. The lawsuit claims Reynolds used his power to pressure WME to drop Justin.
By 8:48 p.m. on December 20th, a reporter was already hounding Wallace with questions, citing details from the draft. The New York Times posted it online under the headline, "Read the Complaint," and soon, outlets like TMZ, Variety, CNN, and People magazine were blasting his name across the globe. Wallace's life was shattered, his reputation in tatters, his career on the line. But that wasn't the end of the story. How does a Hollywood star like Blake Lively end up in a Texas courtroom?
That's her riding her dragon. She's the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones, and that's what Blake Lively says in a text message, that she too has her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift.
Only to claim she doesn't belong there. Wallace's lawsuit accuses her of forum shopping, jumping between Texas, New York, and California courts to game the system. In Texas, Blake filed a lawsuit to get Wallace's deposition, telling a judge under oath she needed his testimony to build her case. She swore that without it, any lawsuit against him would be baseless and could violate Texas law. But 3 weeks later, she dropped the Texas case, claiming a New York judge told her to consolidate it.
They are powerful advocates for her, and while it seems to be said like I'm so lucky that I have them as great storytellers to help me rewrite the script. What Brian Friedman alleges is, you'll go along or I'll unleash my dragons on you.
Wallace's team calls that a flat-out lie. Court records show no such order from the New York judge. Legal experts say this tactic is a desperate move to fish for evidence in one state while dodging stricter rules in another. Blake's team argued Texas has no jurisdiction over her, but Wallace's complaint begs to differ, and what happened next would raise even more eyebrows. Wallace's case for Texas jurisdiction is airtight, and it's hard to ignore. Blake didn't just file lawsuits in Texas, she physically showed up. She was at South by Southwest in Austin promoting a film when a protester confronted her, yelling, "Blake lies! Justice for Justin!" Blake didn't deny the accusations or correct the record, she just moved on. She was spotted in Waco, hanging out with Chip and Joanna Gaines, mingling with Texas locals. She hired 3 Texas law firms, paid court fees, and told a Texas judge she needed Wallace's deposition to avoid filing a bad faith lawsuit. Yet, after getting what she wanted, she abandoned Texas and ran to New York, where the legal standards are less strict. Wallace argues this proves she deliberately used Texas courts while pretending she's above their reach. Her actions in Texas, lawsuits, public appearances, and all, tie her to the state, and Wallace's team is determined to make that stick. But the damage from Blake's draft complaint was relentless. Once the New York Times published Blake's draft complaint, it spread like wildfire. Hollywood Reporter, E! News, USA Today, and even local Texas outlets picked up the story, naming Wallace as a harasser based on a document that was never filed in court. The draft wasn't just a legal misstep, it was a press release disguised as a lawsuit, designed to smear Wallace before Blake had any proof. Media outlets didn't bother checking if it was legitimate. They ran with the sensational headlines, and Wallace paid the price. He says the stress triggered serious health issues, physical symptoms of the mental anguish he's endured since December 20th, 2024, when his world flipped upside down. His lawsuit claims Blake acted with actual malice, knowing he wasn't involved but leaking the draft anyway to destroy him. The media frenzy amplified her lies, and Wallace is still picking up the pieces. But this story isn't just about one man, it's about a pattern that's starting to emerge. That Vancouver photojournalist didn't just spill tea about the 2015 car incident. He spent years on film sets, watching Blake and Ryan up close, and what he saw wasn't the fairy tale romance they sell. He claims Ryan's jealousy was a constant issue, showing up on set to monitor Blake, creating tension that crew members noticed but couldn't discuss due to NDAs. The journalist says this controlling behavior goes back years, and the car incident was just one example of the couple allegedly lying to protect their image. He watched Blake and Ryan navigate their relationship under pressure, and the cracks were obvious. Rumors of a toxic marriage have swirled for years, but NDAs kept insiders quiet until now. The journalist's account lines up with Wallace's lawsuit, suggesting Blake and Ryan have a history of manipulating narratives to bury anyone who threatens their brand, and the tea keeps getting hotter. Wallace's fight is about more than clearing his name. It's about justice against a Hollywood machine that crushes anyone in its path. His lawsuit claims Blake's draft complaint was a deliberate smear, leaked to the press to ruin him before she had any evidence. When he demanded she retract her statements, she refused, even after admitting in court she had no facts to back her claims. The emotional toll has been devastating. Wallace says the stress has caused medical issues, from anxiety to physical symptoms that have disrupted his life. He's suing for $1 million in reputational damage and $6 million in punitive damages, arguing Blake's actions were calculated and malicious. His complaint paints her as someone who knew he was innocent but targeted him anyway, using her star power to amplify lies. For a private citizen like Wallace, taking on two of Hollywood's biggest names is a David and Goliath battle, but he's not backing down. This isn't just about Blake and Ryan, it's about how Hollywood's elite wield their influence to silence critics. Wallace's lawsuit exposes what he calls a smear machine, where celebrities use media leaks and legal maneuvers to control narratives. Blake's draft complaint wasn't meant for a courtroom. It was crafted for headlines, designed to destroy Wallace's reputation before he could defend himself. The fact that she later admitted needing his deposition to investigate his involvement proves she had no evidence to begin with. Yet she let the lies spread, from the New York Times to TMZ to local Texas papers. This tactic isn't new. Hollywood has long used its power to bury inconvenient truths. But with Wallace's lawsuit and the photojournalist's revelations, the cracks in Blake and Ryan's armor are starting to show. Can they keep their golden image intact? So, where does this leave Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds? They've charmed the world with their wit, their romance, and their all-American appeal. But these accusations of lying to police, defaming innocent people, and playing dirty in court paint a far uglier picture. From a fabricated car crash in Vancouver to a fake complaint that ruined Jed Wallace's life, the allegations are piling up. Add in rumors of a toxic marriage and Ryan's controlling behavior, and you've got a scandal that could redefine their legacy. Will their star power carry them through, or are we finally seeing the real Blake and Ryan? I want to hear from you. Do you think Wallace and the photojournalist are telling the truth, or is this all a misunderstanding blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter in this Hollywood drama. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.